Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to Blades Banner, Season 2, Episode 1, with Coach Thornblade and me, Rob Thornblade. Really excited to be back. We had a unbelievable year last year. Michigan football, really special. We're looking to duplicate that this season. Excited to talk about what we got going here in 2024. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. And it was a tremendous season with a lot of different elements outside scandal. And I don't know if it's scandal, but a lot of outside interference, but didn't seem to affect the team. And the game was won on the field, and it was a remarkable year. And I give great credit. We had great players. They did a marvelous job. And I continue to be optimistic. And I'm basing it on the culture that exists at Michigan right now. These kids are believed. I watched the spring game, and I carefully watched other spring games. The Michigan spring game was hotly contested by the players. They all wanted to win. They all wanted to be excellent. They all wanted to play, and it was physical. And when Sherone Moore took over the team, he said, I can assure you we're going to continue to play smash mouth. We're going to continue to slam. We're going to continue to be a physical team. And that was evident in the spring game. No other spring game that I saw was played with the same intensity. So there's an ethic there. There's a culture that exists at Michigan right now. And the kids are believers. The wonderful thing that going into this year, because we lost our head coach and some other coaches followed him, replaced by very fine coaches, by the way, some great coaches. Everybody discounts Michigan this year. We're going to find out very quickly, but I think we're going to be very competitive, and I think we're going to be more than competitive. I think we have 4 first-round picks, probably maybe 5 on the defense, 2 corners that are excellent, and then a great linebacker that they're raving about, and then 2 great defensive tackles. The offense is going to be the question mark. It's a talented running back room. We got a great coach from Ohio State named Alford that's going to coach our running backs. We bemoan the loss of our friend Mike Hart, but our offensive line is there's some players there that didn't play last year that could have played. That Grant Newsom has said if they had played, would probably have been able to leave for the NFL. We got a really wonderful guard who was all Big Ten, who came from Northwestern to help. So that seems to be coalescing, the offensive line. We got maybe the finest tight end in the country. The receivers are a question mark. We lost some big time players, but I'm optimistic. The big question, of course, is quarterback, and of course it's critical. Lombardi said every position in football is of the same weight. Every man has to execute his assignment in a coordinated effort in order to be successful. But one position is more important than the others, and that's quarterback. And there's a hotly contested quarterback competition right now. And there is competition within positions at Michigan, which is always good, which always brings out the best in the players. You know that, Rob. You coached. And between 2 great stories, Davis Warren and Alex Orji, 2 guys that have overcome adversity. Davis Warren had leukemia, a remarkable comeback, and Orji has fought like crazy to get this position. The quarterback coach said the other day that I believe that either quarterback is capable of quarterbacking us and taking us to the national championship. That's heavy praise. Now, the first thing we got to do is beat Fresno State, which will not be easy. Will not be easy.
Yeah.
Fresno State has a great tradition.
Well, and Jack Tuttle was playing really well until he got injured as well. So we had a really stout competition, which iron sharpens iron, gets those kids competing at a high level. I mean, to do that every day in practice makes it a lot easier to go out there on Saturdays and execute. Before we skip over, the first thing you said, though, is we did get a new head coach that, I mean, I fully support, and I'm sure you can talk about that as well. But he did coach us as our head coach in some very, very important games last season. He has proven himself,
Ohio State,
beat Ohio State.
Ohio State, and Penn State.
I mean, he ran the ball 32 times in a row on Penn State in this era of college football in a pass happy RPO, zone read, smoke and mirrors type of
Spread. There's spread offense.
spread offense. But what everybody's, and we lined up with, we had 3 tight ends or 2 tight ends and a fullback, and we ran the ball down people's throat, and it was beautiful to watch it. People loved watching it. Everybody thinks you need to throw the ball a whole bunch to be exciting. That was not the case for Michigan football last year in Sherone Moore. So I'm really happy he's back with us, and he is our head coach. I know he'll be taking us in the right direction. Jim Harbaugh did a great job, closing it out, and I'm happy for him going on to the next level. So yeah, Coach, I mean, really excited
he's not a rookie head coach.
No.
This is his first year. But Sherone Moore earned that job, and he did a remarkable job in the face of controversy and against, formidable opponents. Penn State is a talent-laden team, picked ahead of us this year. We're picked 4th, which is the best thing that could happen to us. We are defending national champions, and we're not getting a great amount of respect, but that's okay. I told a friend of mine from Ohio State, who's so highly regarded and loaded with talent, that we'll just send a trophy down to you, but with your permission, we're going to play the games, and we'll see how we do. And we'll see how we evolve. Of course, being injury-free is important. But let's go back to Sherone Moore. He's a young, talented guy. He put together some of the finest offensive lines in the history of college football and have been recognized as such when they win the award given, I forget the name of it, when they give the award.
Outland, isn't it?
Top offensive line. I'm not certain, but he put together some great lines. They're really excited about the way this offensive line has congealed and come together. I think they used to call themselves, their nickname for themselves was the Smash Group or the Smash Squad, and now they're calling themselves Invictus. Invictus meaning they're going to sustain that. They're going to be, that's who they are. They're going to be tough, physical, hard-nosed. The Alabama linebackers, in my opinion, still don't know where to line up against Michigan. We take that tight end. This is a Sherone Moore's offense. Make no mistake about it. He was the offensive coordinator, and he designed this offense. And what we do is we take the tight end and we take the fullback or the H-back, we shift them. Then we run somebody in motion, and we shift the tight end or the H-back back. And those linebackers never knew where to line up. And then we run downhill. We create seams inside with blocking angles. And that's all by design. And when you get a kid like Edwards or Corum last year, or I believe some of the talented running backs we have this year, once they break the line of scrimmage and they get through the backers, there's one man to beat because they are coming straight down. They beat the safety and they're gone. And that's why we get such big plays out of the running game. The Big Ten historically is a line of scrimmage league. The games are won inside the line of scrimmage. Now, as we incorporate these other wonderful teams, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to play SC, Washington, UCLA, Oregon, all wonderful teams, tremendous programs. But there have been more spread teams, and they haven't been as reliant on the running game as historically and line of scrimmage play as Big Ten teams. Part of it is probably the weather. Part of it is just how it's evolved. And they're all great teams that are going to present a great challenge. Fresno State was 9-4 last year. They beat Purdue at the beginning of the season, and they also beat Arizona State. So they have beaten teams from big conferences. They went to the New Mexico Bowl and beat New Mexico State. They have a wonderful quarterback. Typically, upsets are on the basis of a great quarterback performance. And they have a wonderful quarterback who's highly regarded. He is not tall. He's short. He's 5'11", 6 foot, but very active. And it's a quick passing offense. They have a tremendous tailback, ran for almost 1,000 yards. And they were coached by a man who left named Jeff Tedford, who was a wonderful coach and had a wonderful record at Fresno State. Prior to that, at California. Prior to that, he coached in the National Football League. He quarterbacked. He was a head coach in the Canadian League, quarterbacked after his college career in the Canadian League for several years. And unfortunately, he bowed out not too long ago. And that's when they appointed the interim head coach. And he is interim. He has not been named head coach yet. Skipper. But losing Tedford, I think, was a tough blow to that program. Now, that said, I heard Skipper talk. They're excited. Now, he coached at Central Michigan, and he's been around himself. And he said, I can't tell you how excited. We're used to playing big teams. You know, they used to beat SC on some regular basis. And they're excited to come into that stadium and play on national TV and should not be taken lightly. I think they've won a lot. They've been 9-4 for the last 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, it's a winning program.
It's a good program.
Talented players. And so it's all going to be predicated on we got to stop this quarterback. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Martindale does. I'm excited about seeing his defense. He's a pressure guy. He likes pressure. What do you say? We're going to break pipes. I think that's the quote I read, break pipes. And see if we get pressure with 4, which I think we will be able to. And then if we add a 5th guy, we should be able to hopefully negate this tremendous player they have, who's a Unitas Award winner. They're on the watch list, and it's going to be the first game. Rob, you got to work through all the kinks, and it's not so easy. You're not firing on all cylinders. So Michigan has to play with great intensity and toughness. And that's what they did a year ago. That's what I saw in the spring game. And that's what I think is the hallmark of this program right now. And if they do that, they should be okay. But make no mistake about it, this is not an easy opener.
No, this is not a cupcake. It's going to be the first half. I think it's going to take a little bit for us to pick up and start scoring some points. Obviously, defense usually shows up first. Little easier to install that. And then offense usually starts clicking. You always told me the biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2.
Between the first and second game.
Yeah. And you see that a lot with offenses. But, with Sherone Moore's style of offense, I think running the ball, using our offensive line, handing the ball off for our new quarterback, maybe getting him a couple hits on some option plays or the plays he's been running before will really, break him in and get him going at a high clip very fast.
I think, Rob, we might see a 2-quarterback system.
Yeah.
I think we might see a system that is not dissimilar to what Urban Meyer did at Florida with Leak and
Tebow.
And the great Tebow.
Yeah.
And he was a gregreat college player.
Yeah. But Fresno State's good,
He
coach.
was an unbelievable college player. And so that seemed to work there. A lot of people don't like that. Now, Orji has experience coming in a game and running a package designed for him, which he did last year really effectively. But they're raving about, he has not named the starter. The competition has been unbelievably keen, and really, they don't know where to go. And Davis Warren, as of late, has been playing remarkable, and they have been making comparisons between him and J.J. McCarthy. Now, I've been an Orji fan too, so I think we're going to see them both in the first game.
Yeah, for sure.
But as you know, we look down the road. Michigan has a tremendously tough schedule, and in a tremendously well endowed Texas team with the best quarterback, who is considered the best quarterback in the country, be coming in a week later. So this will be a game that's critical to win, to get off on the right foot, to play our kind of football. I think you're right. I think they don't have to. I don't want to, like they would rely on JJ sometimes to bail them out. We should rely on the running game. Make sure we get positive yards, and then when we come up with in second down, we'll have the opportunity to run or pass. The down and distance won't dictate pass. And if I think I do, and we sustain the ball, and we run the ball effectively, I think we'll be okay, which will allow our passers to come in and be effective. The concern I have about Orji has been his accuracy. But nobody stays the same. You either get better or you get worse. My coach said that every day, Coach Shep Beckler, every day, 20 times a day. You never stay the same. You either get better or you get worse. Well, these are, we got to remember that these players have had a lot of snaps, and they've had in between now and then, and they've had a lot of practice, and they worked closely with Coach Kirk Campbell, who'll be the first time he's been calling plays. Sherone's been calling the plays, so I think we're going to have a good performance out of both sides. I think the offense, they say we lost 9 out of 11 starters. Well, Edwards was a starter by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then, Bredesen, fullback, is a starter, and then Loveloy is a starter. And then, we got the kid from Northwestern who started every game and has been all Big Ten player. And then some of these other guys have been waiting their turn. Loveland actually is saying tremendous. He's just he's been unbelievably excited about the kids that play behind him, the tight ends that play behind him. So and I've also heard that they might use him at split end some, a gifted, talented receiver who can run and will win any matchup with a cornerback if they throw the ball up. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait for the game. We're going to have a capacity crowd as usual. People are going to be welcoming back, the national champions. That's something to be proud of. But means nothing. Is evidenced by the how they look at us. Many people don't think we'll get in the college football playoffs. But what we have to do is win the first series of downs on offense, get the first down, and then get the first stop on defense against Fresno State. Then we go from there, and then we build from there. And if we ever get ahead of ourselves, then there is difficulty. Then there is. That's how we play football. That's how we look at it. We got an opponent named Fresno State. That's our single focus.
Yeah, and not just want to say it again. Fresno State plays in big games all the time. Like you said, back in the 2000s, they were beating USC. They have big time wins. Last year, they beat Purdue, Arizona. Was it Arizona State? They played
Arizona State.
Yeah, they played some big time games, big time opponents. They put together ball games. They're not going to be scared to come into the big house and play. So we need to.
They're going to be excited.
We need to be ready to go, and I think we will be. So I'm looking forward.
We have to dissuade them right away.
Yeah,
we have to let them know you're not coming into this stadium, and you're not going to beat Michigan. And we're going to do that, and we're going to hit them hard, and we're going to play hard. When the ball snaps to the whistle, we're going to get everybody to the ball. There's a linebacker that a kid who came from Barnum. I think it's Barnum. It came from Maryland. It's going to wear number 1. Interestingly enough, that's what he wore at Maryland. I coached a great number 1 named Carter. Usually we had receivers wear that number, but Wink Martindale is raving about him. Now this is a guy who coached Ray Lewis.
Yeah,
and a lot of other great linebackers, and I don't think he's prone to praise. He's not that kind of guy. So I think we're going to have a great defense. One of the most important things is if we have a great punter, average 43 yards, per kick, and that's critical. The best punter in the country left. He was at Iowa. He's now the Bears punter, and now Dolman, I believe, will be considered the best punter in the country. Yeah, but most importantly, we have this young guy that's coming in from Arkansas State that kicked a 6-yard field goal last year. A couple years ago, he was 4 for 4 against Ohio State, and he's got his name is Savada, and he's got to fill the breach there, and that is probably as important as any portal player, any transfer that we have, and our kicking game has got to be great. That's one of the most important phases of the game. But man, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. We got a lot of great games. I think Notre Dame, I forget, they play a good big game against somebody that's pretty good. And then Penn State plays West Virginia.
Clemson plays Georgia.
Yeah, you got USC and LSU on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting. It is interesting that, and I can't remember this, and I was thinking about this, when Michigan State and Michigan both had a first-year coach. And so Coach Smith will be up there trying to resurrect the program. And he's an old the Oregon State coach, and he did a wonderful job there. And my sense is they're going to be competitive because I think he's a good coach, and we wish them well, except when we play them. And and it's going to be exciting. Ohio State thinks they have the greatest assemblage of talent in the history of college football, and they are talented. But I've seen talented teams that don't really live up to their potential. I've seen other lesser teams that pull it all together. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And we're going to play them in a few months. They've already been picked to win a national championship, but Oregon will have something to say about that on October 12th. And then we're going to have a chance to play Oregon, who has a great team too. So it's going to be an unbelievable season. The matchups are great. The excitement is high, and I can't wait for it. And then I'm excited about Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
there's ethic at Michigan. There is a culture. When they go, when I look at the Big Ten, when they go around the league and they talk. Now, one time they didn't talk about two things that are critical. No one talked about the culture. The culture at Michigan, I think, is it's like we used to be. We believed that no one would beat us. And we took the film, when we took the field, we believed we're going to be victorious. And we're going to play every play. And we're going to be more physical than the other team. And we were going to bend their will. That's how we did it. And we played together. And we cared about each other. We played for Michigan. And that's how we did it. And this team has the same sort of ethic. It has the same culture there right now. And Sherone talked about that. There's a wonderful culture there. And so we're going to be formidable and difficult to handle. But first thing we're going to do is be a Fresno State team that's not going to come in there and lay down. It is a wonderful program. They've had great success. So we'll see how we do.
But you're right, Coach. Culture right now, always and now, is more important than it's ever been. I was just going to say how great college football, the changes in the conferences, the changes in the portal, the changes in NIL, all these things that I think are unbelievable for the athlete, the student athlete, for college football, for the viewer, for the fan, for everybody involved. These are great things. But that culture, with all these changes, that can go to the wayside sometimes. And when you
when you're giving NIL money, you got some guy who's making more NIL than you are. There's jealousy. They handle this. This happens in pro football.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult to. So I know nobody talked about NIL money. There's a ton of NIL money down there at Ohio State. I think Michigan's given out a significant amount, and jealousy can occur. And the way it's structured is now it's where the NFL was. You got to give a lot of money to the kids coming in, and sometimes the starters, the guys who've been there and are proven there's not as much, don't get as much, and that causes jealousy, bitterness, and it's so you got to keep the locker room together. Now I think Michigan, to the best of my observation, has a great culture right now, and that means everything. That means everything. Attitude means everything. A positive mental attitude means everything. A belief in your brothers, a belief in your coaches, a love for your school. I think that will exist at Michigan, and that's why we will be hard to beat, in my opinion, this year. Now, we've got some great challenges ahead, and we could stumble. We've won. I think we're 40-3 in the last 3 years, or some remarkable record. And we're on a 15-game winning streak right now. So we got to sustain that. And it's not easy to do. And we got to be at our best. And we can't make mistakes. The quarterbacks have to make good decisions. They're young quarterbacks. They're young, but I mean, they've been around. They're older, but they're young in that they don't have a tremendous amount of playing experience. And they have to make good choices. And they have to take care of the ball. You could have, 30 completions, but you throw 5 interceptions, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
They have to be cautious and take care of the ball and make good choices. I think Orig's not going to be a 3 progression guy. I think he's going to look at the primary, look at the short route, and if they're covered, he's going to put it under his arm and go. And that's not a bad strategy with him. I also think with Origi, like we did sometimes with JJ, we're going to be able to threaten the perimeter with a passer and a run-pass option, and that's hard to defend, as you know.
Absolutely. You're playing 11 on 11. It makes it tough, that's for sure, especially when that quarterback can throw on the move, get outside the pocket, and then you got to extend your zones. You got to find that guy who you're covering. It makes it changes. The whole field changes, man.
So
quick.
I'm watching internet every minute to see if who he's going to name as the starter. I do believe we will see both quarterbacks, regardless of who he starts.
Well, that just talking about players, I mean, I'm excited to see. I think Donovan Edwards, man, I think the more you feed him, the more he's going to kind of like the story of his career back in his high school days. And now the more he gets the ball, the more he gets going. I can remember going to one of his high school games and,
Yeah.
the first half we got, he doesn't have that much. And then you leave the game and he has 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. And you go,
Then he explodes.
what just happened?
Yeah, then he explodes.
So, and then I
I
love
like Mullins.
I love
I like
Mullins.
Mullins. I like the number 20, that big, strong, tough back. He comes in and gets tough yards, hard to bring down. They too have to take care of the ball. And remember, when you give second effort as a running back, and the opponents are coming in, the second and third guy, they're coming in to strip the ball. And that's when the ball comes out and it gets stripped. So the running backs, when they give second effort, they also have to be conscious of leverage on the ball and good ball security. Turnovers, I think we had 8. We didn't have many turnovers last year. I don't know the statistics, like 8. It's unbelievable.
Well, Coach always told me, you win the kick game, you win the turnover battle. At the end of the game, you're going to know who won that football game really easy.
That's a precious thing, that ball, and you got to take care of it. And if you can't, you will not play. You will not play.
Now, you being a wide receiver coach, I mean, I know Sherone Morgan, but these other guys, I don't know much about them. Are there anybody you're looking
featured? Of course,
tight end.
There's a young player who's from Youngstown State, who was a big, strong receiver who did good there. He's a portal player. Now they say that they played well.
I like the kid that came back from. I love the kid that came back from Old Miss. Yes. He was good when he was here, and he's good again.
Yeah. So I think that Cornelius and Roman were extraordinary. And Roman, of course, was a game breaker, and it took him a while to get there. Sherone Morgan is a game breaker. He's small, but he's going to be much better. And I'm sure he's much stronger than he was. He's had a year in the weight room. He's going to be a heck of a lot stronger and better. And so he'll be able to stretch the field. And then we have these tight ends and Bredesen and our running backs who are capable of catching the ball. So they're going to have to have linebackers, nickel backs cover us. By the same token, if they make the mistake of ignoring the run, then we will penalize them.
Excited to see the fullback come back, number 44.
He's a captain. And he's a wonderful leader and really a great blocker at the point of attack. And he also caught the ball a couple times last year.
Yeah.
So he's not incapable. And the backup tight ends we're going to see. So, they're going to have to pay attention to, that Loveland is a tremendous player, that tight end. And so they're going to have to figure out how to stop him. When they do that, it's going to open up some single coverage for these guys. Now, if we throw the ball accurately, we're going to be fine. And that's important. JJ was tremendously accurate. Tom Brady was the most accurate quarterback when it came to mid-level routes in the history of football. There's nobody more accurate than Tom. But the great thing about Tom, of course, he made good choices. And these guys have to make good choices. And there comes a time when you throw it out of bounds or you eat the ball.
Yep.
And those are choices that are important to make. That comes with experience. And we're not going to put these guys, they're not in a position where they're going to be required to throw the ball 40 times to win the game. And because we're going to control line of scrimmage and we're going to have manageable down and distance situations. And that's critical. That's critical to everybody's football. That's critical to our football.
Yeah. Then on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, obviously we all know about Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant. A guy that I'm excited to watch, and I loved watching last year when he got in, was Makari Page. Number 7, our safety. I mean, I'm going to miss Moore. I really wish he was out there with us. I mean, how he finished the season last year and how he was playing. He was playing at a very, very high level. His leadership on the field, everybody was feeding off of him. Yeah. You could just tell that people wanted to play with that guy.
He was named captain.
Yeah.
He's one of the captains.
Oh, yeah. He's a coach. I mean, he's coaching now.
And he's hurt.
Yeah.
And that's an indication of the high regard the players have for him. And he said he was overwhelmed by the honor, and he's going to be down there with the players.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think our defense. People are talking about being the best defense that we've had in many years, and they're going to be in comparison to some really fine defenses. When you lose a guy like Mikey Stastro, that's hard. Great leader, great player, but these, that front four is. I think we're going to get pressure with four.
Yeah.
We're going to get pressure to the quarterback's hand. We're going to rush to the quarterback's hand, and that's going to cause difficulty for them. And if we can get pressure with four, and then when we come from five, they're going to come free, and they're forcing. Then they'll be forced to keep the running back in our opponents. So I think we're a running team. We control the line of scrimmage, and we have been tougher and more physical than other teams. That is our identity. That is who we are.
Yeah.
If they put 8 up on line of scrimmage, then to stop the run, then we have to pass. And we have to take advantage of that, and we have to be able to recognize it. So, quarterback's got a lot to do. First, the first thing he does, what he does before the snap is almost as important as what he does after the snap. Of course, now we're going to have it
the football
be a little easier on the quarterback because we have the mic in his ear, but it stops 15 seconds before the play. And then, we do a lot of things to make the defense identify themselves.
Yep.
And that's what Sherone has done by shifting the tight end, the up back, and then running the motion with receiver, and then running some of what they call eye candy, to make them honest. So, and I'm telling you, I think we really have gifted players. I mean, gifted. And they've come along. They develop. So a lot of guys come in highly touted but don't develop. These kids have all seemed to get better. And they have the national championship under their belt. And they were all part of that.
Yeah.
And when you're part of that, that's a special thing. Creates a special bond. Creates a special enthusiasm, a special culture. And that exists there right now. And that makes them hard to handle.
Well,
So
and a certain amount of swagger, confidence when you step on the field. And obviously you can't look back and you can't rest on that. But when you've went out there and you've put it to Alabama, Washington, Ohio State, when you step out there that you can give it all you got. You can take it to anybody in the country.
I'm excited about and optimistic about our chances.
Well, the first thing you said earlier today is, and you've said it multiple times, is winning the line of scrimmage. I mean, everybody that's worried about Michigan football, new head coach, new quarterback, new wide receivers, what we have is we have an offense and defensive line.
And I haven't mentioned my favorite player, Mason Graham. Now, he said he's banged up a little bit, but he's a remarkable player. He's like Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just,
fast twitch.
The best defensive lineman. Then you put Grant over on the other side. They are raving about the two edge kids. They're saying they're really hard to handle. We lost Harold made the team, and then I saw the other kid. Who was the other guy? Not big kid from Port Huron. He made an NFL team.
Yeah. So McGregor or whatever his name is.
Jenkins, of course, he was part of that defense. He made the team. So a lot of our guys made NFL teams, which are indicative of how good they were. But that does not mean, it has never meant at Michigan, when we have been winning, that the players behind them will not be as good or perhaps better when they fill the breach. So it's next man up. Next man up, and you play like Michigan, and you play together. And you care about your teammates. You play with great enthusiasm. I won't say enthusiasm unknown to mankind, because that's what the Chargers are going to be doing now. But there's going to be a tremendous crowd there. There's great expectation. By the same token, I think people recognize that the most difficult thing in sports is to repeat, and repeat as champion. We've been champions 3 years in a row. That was a remarkable accomplishment. Not many teams have done that. To do it 4 is almost unprecedented. And I think a Minnesota team did that way back in the 30s. I'm not even certain if people have won 4 Big Ten championships. And now the league has 18 teams, and the teams that came in are teams with great tradition and historically have been tremendously competitive and highly regarded teams in great schools. So it becomes more difficult.
Well,
with the expansion of the CFP, it doesn't really, it's not just going to be the winner of the Ohio State game, Michigan Ohio State. The winner goes, the loser stays home. It's going to change, and doesn't make that any less important. But it changes your strategy as a coach, the strategy how you approach the season. You want to be one of those 12. If you can be a top 6, you're going to get a home game. We'll get a home game in December in the state in Michigan. That'll be fun.
Oh my God, shutting the field off.
Yeah.
Well,
warming maybe won't be too bad, but that's what we're aiming for. First things first. Fresno State, Fresno State, Fresno State. Fresno State should not be overlooked. It is a really good opener. It's going to be on national TV. There's going to be a bunch of celebrities walking around. That always happens when it's on national TV. And there's going to be great excitement as the crowd welcomes back the national champions, the defending national championship, defending Big Ten champions when they run through that tunnel.
well,
Expect a big explosion and a big ovation. And our fans are tremendous. We have tremendous fans.
it's going to be great.
Michigan fans are the best in the country. Nobody buys more stuff. Nobody cares more. Michigan fans are extraordinary, and they're going to be there, and they're ready. And we're anxious to see the team do well. We should never forget that these young men are college students, and the most important thing they're doing is getting a degree in their chosen field, even though they're going to make a lot of NIL money and stuff like that. It probably won't be enough to sustain them for a lifetime, and that they're there to get a degree. I'd like to try to keep that in focus somehow, but it's difficult.
Well, that being said, Coach, I know we were going to try to keep it to 30, 40 minutes. We're almost there. I will say
I got to go too.
I will say that I'm calling it now. I think Michigan. I know you probably won't give your prediction. I think we're going to go 11-1 this year into the Big Ten championship. I won't tell you which game I think we might drop yet. You have to keep listening to hear that. I'm super excited. We had a lot of stuff we still didn't even talk about. I know we want to talk about Connor Stallion Netflix. I know we want to talk to the CFP expansion.
We'll have time to do that.
We'll get to that next episode. Any predictions for Fresno State?
Well, here's my prediction. My prediction is that we now have entered a new era. And it used to be, last year we had to win every game. We didn't win every game, we wouldn't have been a national championship. The teams that win a national championship historically have had to win every game. That's not the case now. It's a little more like pro football. We go back to the Dolphins 17-0, but there's nobody in pro football that gets through unscathed. So there'll probably be, teams are going to get nicked. And it's going to be difficult, certainly with the addition of these teams. When you're playing, all of a sudden you got USC and Oregon and Washington on schedule. Although we did lose Penn State, who has really got a great team this year. It's going to be, it changes how you look at it. So if you do lose a game, you don't have to, throw the towel in and know that you're going to a lesser bowl than the college football playoff. So it changes. So, I believe that we're going to do well and we're going to have a competitive team. I don't get into scores because I'm not that good. If I could do that, I'd be a billionaire, betting Las Vegas. I'm not capable of that. But what I see, and I've seen it before, and what I sense, the culture there, the quality of players, the quality of coaching. We have some really good coaches there. I'm really excited to watch this Grant Newsome, Michigan man, as he progresses in coaching, who is going to be a formidable coach. He is a formidable coach, but he's going to go places. It's fun to watch him. We have Coach Bellamy out there. We brought the running back coach in from Ohio State, who said it's a great breath of fresh air. He's excited to be here. We have Martindale. This guy's one of the best defensive minds in football, and maybe in the history of football. He's extraordinary, and he was the mentor, and who are now a defensive coordinator in professional football, and the other guy's the head coach of the Seahawks. So this guy coached Ray Lewis, coached all those great Ravens defenses. So he's extraordinary, and he's going to bring a lot to our football. And I like Sherone Moore. He's a man of few words, but he's a man, but he exudes confidence. and belief in his players in the university. And I'm excited to see him. Sherone Moore could be the head coach potentially at Michigan for 30 years. I don't know if anybody could stand up to that pressure, but I mean, he's 38 years old, right? I mean, this guy could be, he's a young man. And certainly he's 68 years old. It's not crazy. People work till they're 70 now, 71, 72. Conceivably, he could be our head coach for a long time. And I hope that he will. And I
Yes,
hope
sir.
that he will. And he's going to get off to a great start. And I'm excited for him. And I'm grateful that we have him.
Well, great, Coach. I appreciate you. Look forward to talking to you after this Michigan win about the big game number 2, but we won't say too much about that. We're going to look at the game in front of us and go blue, man. Have a great weekend. Enjoy watching.
Love you, Rob. We're going to tell your friends, and we'll try to get more people watching and have some more fun and do our best, give them our best effort to educate them and tell them what we think and let them react to that. We certainly don't think we're always right. But it's the great thing about college football, about sports in general. Everybody's an expert, which is okay. So everybody has a valid opinion, and we look forward to having more people watch.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Coach. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you, brother. Bye.